Yo, quick man, power. Load him that one, load him that one. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Walk. Watch out, how much of the end?
On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype, we make it take flight.
Yeah man, my viewers and subscribers, what Whyne, a blessed and wonderful Tuesday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we are going in Jamaica. So watch this now, my peeps. We're going to kick it off with a rather interesting story. I saw this post in the Jamaica Gleaner the other day where protesters line outside the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James on Sunday afternoon, calling for regional leaders attending the 49th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting to sever diplomatic ties with Israel over its ongoing military campaign in Gaza. We're not talking about cartel Gaza, right? So the real Gaza. Now, the peaceful demonstration organized by members of the Palestinian Solidarity Group in Jamaica and the International Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions Movement. It took place just ahead of the summit opening ceremony. One of them stated that we are here to ask CARICOM to cut all diplomatic ties with Israel. And basically, them they chant and I say, free Gaza and all these type of things. Now, a lot of these persons you see standing, protesting, are actual Jamaicans, born and bred on our beautiful island home of Jamaica. Now Jamaica have its own internal war. But where are these lobby groups to lobby against crime and violence in their own country what is affecting them directly. But they are out there protesting against Israel and Gaza war, a war where a fight between them from before Wappy Mother even meet Philip father. Now this just goes to show the mindset of our people, you know. We're ready to go fight for another person's country and sovereignty and whatsoever it is that is going on over there. Which nothing is wrong with that. But why not give the same attention and concern to the very country that you are living in? We have an ongoing war going on in our country between criminal elements, law enforcement, and the regular members of Chan Public, like some UNO protesters out there. Some peeps tuning in to the voice of On The Spot News Media. Please help me to make that make sense. Yeah, man. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, Sentan, as I've stated in recent vlogs, is definitely a cause for concern. A double fatal knockings and clappings going on in a Parry town. And next man end up losing 3 pints in a Ochi. And a next man end up losing 3 pints in a Runaway Bay. So 4 end up lose them 3 pints within a 24-hour span. Now if that is not cause for concern in the beautiful garden parish of St. Ann, I literally don't know what is. Now we are going to elaborate a little bit on this before we move on into the next story. So 4 men get caught up, as I stated earlier, in 3 separate incidents in St. Ann between Friday and Saturday night. 1 man is presently battling for life, hanging on to life by a thread, arising from one of the incidents. Now the knockings and clappings took place in about 24 hours, and all involved a gun. So the persons who have lost their lives, I have pictures for 2 of the 4. The first person presently on your screen identified as 48-year-old fruits vendor Anthony Elliott, but them call him schoolboy in the streets. He's of a Scarlett Hall address in Runaway Bay, St. Ann. The next person that lost his life is said to be identified as 56-year-old painter Paul Brooks, but them call him Mataran in the streets. People are say, boy, him just at the wrong place at the wrong time, as he was not the target of the attack. The next man, presently on your screen, identified as Lamar Lynch, but them call him Bojo, said to be of a Parry Town address. All 3 of St. Ann, and a 53-year-old man identified as Gerald Small, said to be of a Commodore district address in St. Catherine. So the fatal knockings and clappings have shocked people in the parish, some business people and 2 politicians stated that they were unable to remember any 24-hour period in which 4 people lost their lives violently in the parish of St. Ann. So in the Scarlett Hall incident, reports reaching On The Spot News Media would suggest that this man present on your screen identified as Anthony Elliott, also known as Schoolboy in the Streets, a vendor. He had earlier gone home from selling on a plaza at the main supermarket in Runaway Bay. It is said that sometime around 9:45, some minutes to 10 thereabout, he and his son was sitting on the rear veranda of the house when 2 armed criminal elements approached him. It is said that the man and his son was forced inside the house and he was robbed of an undetermined sum of cash. Now it is stated that the gunman then fired several shots, hitting Schoolboy in the upper body and head. he lost his life, same place, on the spot. Luckily, his son, his 11-year-old son, was unharmed. But can you imagine how traumatized that child will be for the rest of his life? To see your father brutally gunned down in such a way, right before your very eyes. How can we as Jamaicans even tolerate criminality on any level? Now the Paritown incident, that one was a double fatal knockings and clappings. Sometime around 10:30 p.m., 3 men were standing outside of a shop that is in the Grove Village area next to the community ball ground. It is said that 2 masked men approached and opened gunfire. All 3 men were hit. They were then taken to the hospital where 2 was pronounced you know what, and the 3rd battling for life. So those that lost their lives is the 56-year-old painter Paul Brooks, otherwise known as Mataran. And this man, presently on your screen, identified as 30-year-old Lamar Lynch, otherwise known as Buju, both of a Paritown address. Now the next knockings and clappings that took place in Ocherius, in one of our nation's biggest tourism hub. That one took place on Friday night. So reports reaching on the Spot News Media would suggest that the deceased has since been identified as 53-year-old Gerald Kingsley Small, otherwise known as Jerry, said to be an entrepreneur from the Commodore District community in St. Catherine. So reports are that sometime around 11:35 p.m. on Friday, Jerry was standing along Main Street in Ocherius near a bar when men approached him and can him up. It is not clear if he was robbed of any of his personal possessions. Now on the Spot News Media has received some information, and it is stated that his fatal knockings and clappings is stemming from a knockings and clappings that took place last year where Jerry's family was involved in the loss of life of the men who took his life's brother. Now it is stated that Jerry's name was basically calling up and stating that a retaliation is a must. So basically, my peeps, is a tit for tat type of situation. So guess what I gotta go on right now? If police personnel now put systematic and strategic things in place to stem these murders, Jamaica I gotta see a decline in the incline of murders trending down. Yeah, man. Just a few weeks ago, I reported that murders were down like 44%. Now, it is stated that murders are down by 41%. So that simply means that it has increased by 2%. Now, a 48-hour curfew is in effect right across sections of Paritown, Ocherius, and the General Sentan in response to the deadly gun attack that left 4 lifeless in the space of 24 hours. So the curfew began at 6 p.m. on Sunday and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. today. Well, I hope that there is a general extension and that the police can actually put a plan in action to stem what is happening in Sentan. Yeah, man. So I just stated some statistics. Make we dig deeper into it. Now, there's been a 41% decline in fatal knockings and clappings by the hands of criminal elements since the start of the year. Now, the latest crime data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, says 356 fatal knockings and clappings had been committed between January 1 and July 7th. Now that's 247 fewer than the 603 recorded in the corresponding period last year. Now the St. Andrew South Police Division continues to be the crime hotspot in Jamaica. It leads the country's murder tally with 47. On the flip side, the St. James Police Division has recorded the biggest drop in homicides. According to the JCF, the division recorded only 30 fatal knockings and clappings compared to 74 committed during the similar period last year. And that's a drop of almost 60%. And up to July 7th, knockings and clappings, that is shootings right across the country, has also seen a major decline. The JCF says knockings and clappings have declined by 33%, coming in at 370 knockings and clappings incident since the start of the year. The grapists them, the hold on and take dirty boy them. We get to understand say, for them thing, a trend down also by 26%. However, the JCF says break-ins and robberies have continued to increase year on year. Both major crimes rose by 23% and 11% respectively up to July 7th. So that's the crime statistics in our dearly beloved island home Jamaica. Right, you know? Yeah, man. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, you know, my peeps, and this is just for sure, say, you know, say some of my time, you have some of them knackies and clappies here from them young leopards definitely not change them spots. So my time we would have just wish them mama did just lock all them leg when time them a creature your barn and prevent them from becoming thorns in our backbones. Or some of the time when time police hold them for just lick them away quick and fast because them all fat here just continue to grow and become bigger and stronger and become a more dominated type of criminal element that is hard for some of us as the regular members of Chan Public to deal with. Whole heap of family members them a weep and a moan because of criminal elements like these who continue to beat the criminal justice system and continue in their life of crime. Now we are going to talk about a criminal element identified as Jevaughn, Whyne, who has had a lifetime of violence. Yeah, man. A criminal element from him a juvenile until him is a big old dirty great toad man. Now, this Nakis and Clappis is dubbed as a contract Nakis and Clappis. And he will be going to prison for the execution style fatal knockings and clappings of a Manchester sales representative who was released from a juvenile prison just over a year after he was convicted for an illegal gun possession as a minor. Now the criminal element, as I stated earlier, is Jevaughn, Whyne. And at 14 years old, he was convicted in 2006 for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. And he was released within a year of that conviction. He was held with a Brico 9mm pistol. However, by 2007, Jevaughn Whyne was released from the Stonehill Correctional Institution where he was placed following the conviction of an illegal firearm possession. Now when time them are 14, them not send them go a big man prison. Them send them go to what you call a reformatory school or a juvenile center. So him not get no whole heap of time. And instead of him learn from that, him come out to continue his life of crime. So for 8 years, him dead there, I do him like a thief, him like a robbery, him like a knockings and clappings, but laid very low. So basically 8 years, as I stated, after his release, he began racking up a string of arrests for gun-related crimes. But he was never convicted of any of those crimes because you don't know the infam of a dead culture in Jamaica is very much alive and persons are very fearful to come forward. So on the 16th of January 2015, he was arrested and charged for a wounding with intent. And little over a year after that, on the 21st of March 2016, Jevaughn Whyne was arrested again and charged along with a relative for illegal possession of firearm and assault occasioning grievous bodily harm. Now in 2018, he was charged yet again with illegal possession of firearm following an incident in which he allegedly conned up a police team. So him fire a portion of shot on the police jeep. It is said that a police officer was also injured. The police recovered a firearm from him. I don't know how them never slap him away. But prosecutors, when he was brought before the courts, had some difficulty proving possession and control of the firearm. So he was acquitted of that knockings and clappings incident. Now in 2019, Jevaughn Whyne again was acquitted of the assault occasioning bodily harm charge. So last Friday, Jevaughn Whyne, now 33 years old, start him life a crime from him about 12-13. Get him first conviction at age 14. Now he's 33. Finally, after all these years, he was sentenced to life in prison and ordered to serve 26 years and 8 months before being eligible for parole. And he got convicted for the execution style fatal knockings and clappings of Dishion, Thompson, 25 years old at the time, of a Christian address in Manchester. It took place on the 5th of March 2022. Now the criminal element was sentenced to 11 years and 8 months in prison for the illegal possession of firearm conviction. Both sentences are to be served concurrently. And I don't even understand why these judges give these sentences to serve concurrently. Because when a judge says to serve concurrently, it means the only sentence that will stand is the one that carries the most years. But if the judge says to serve consecutively, then as soon as one sentence ends, no matter how many years, the other one starts right thereafter. Now what really go on, my peeps, is that the night when time that go on, Jevaughn entered a bar in the quiet rural community of Silent Hill and ordered a cigarette. So after smoking the cigarette, he pulled a firearm and ordered every one of the persons inside the bar to lay face down before standing between the victim's legs and opening gunfire at close range, hitting the man all over the back and the head. He escaped in a waiting motor vehicle. The now deceased Dishion Thompson was labeled as an informer for allegedly alerting his employees of a fraudulent scheme that was taking millions of dollars from the Manchester-based hardware store where he worked, according to the evidence in the case. Now the mother of the deceased man, that's Dishion Thompson's mother, identified as Colette Bailey, stated that she's pleased with the outcome of the case and that the knockers and clappers that took her son's life will be behind bars for a mighty long time. She also stated that her other children have since migrated permanently to better cope with the emotional trauma of their brother's loss of life. Now, I see where one criminal element can have a negative impact on so many lives over the years. His first conviction at age 14 and finally at age 33. Look how much years that after is finally convicted and sent to prison for a mighty long time. And I don't want to tell me say criminal elements like them here deserve to be breathing today after so many are no longer breathing because of them. Make it make sense. Boy, may I tell you my peeps. The thing rough, but the knockings and clappings continues. Now anyway, my peeps, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscast. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.